Hey everybody, welcome to another Cricut Craft tutorial. Today we are going to make a birthday banner using cardstock, so it's going to be a really fun, easy to do craft. There's a couple ways you can do this, but I'm going to show you guys how to actually use Cricut Access, even if you don't have a subscription, because I don't. So we're going to go to Images, and I'll back out of this so you guys can see it all the way from the start. So we're going to go to Images, and I'm going to type in the word banner up here in the search bar. I'm going to click search, and I have my filter set to free. If I don't set it to free, it's going to show me lots of banners, but I'm going to have to pay for them because I don't have Cricut Access. But I don't want to pay for them, so I'm going to go ahead and click on my free ones, and then I'm just going to scroll and find the banner shape that I want. I already know that I want this one, so we're going to insert our image. Now this banner here has slits cut in it, but I don't want slits. I'm actually going to use circles so that it's easier to weave our yarn or whatever we're going to use to hold our banner together through this. So in order to hide those, you're going to go over here to the lower right hand corner and you're going to click the word contour. What that's going to do, it's going to bring up your banner with your slits. We don't want to use the slits or see them at all, so all you have to do is over here click on them and then just close this. And what that does is it gets rid of your slits. Now for me, I'm going to do kind of a double layer banner, so I actually need two of these right now. So all I'm going to do is click duplicate, and I'm going to change the color on the top one here just to any other color so you can see the contrast between the two. Once we decide the style we're going with, we can change our colors. So all I did was I resized my banner. So this one was originally the same size as that. To resize your banner, you just use the little arrow down here in the lower right hand corner. All I did was I just resized it and I put it on top of my other banner so that I can kind of get an idea of the size that I'm going for. So that right there is what I'd like. Like I said, we're going to change the colors and everything else once we know the style that we're going for. If you already know your colors, you can do them. But I know that I just need the word birthday, so that's going to be like 7 banners. Sorry, it's early, I cannot count. So all I do is I selected both by using the left mouse button and drawing a square that kind of covered both pieces, and I'm just going to duplicate this. And all that's going to do is it's going to give me the exact same sizes of my banners because I don't want my banners to be in different sizes. I want everything to be the same. It's okay if your pieces move independent from each other. All that really matters right now is that you have them all the same size. So we don't want to resize anything. So I'm going to move the first bunches of them off the screen so they're out of the way. Now what you can do is if you don't want them to move independent, you can select both and just click the word attach for now, and you can move them to where you want them and you can just detach them. All that does is it just makes it easier to move them. You can change your color back if you want. You can do whatever you want with it here at this point. So we're going to do happy birthday. Now I'm actually going to cut my letters out of a different cardstock as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here to the text and I'm just going to type in the word birthday. I'm going to do all caps, and then I'm going to find a font that I like. For this, a lot of times a stencil font will work really well because you don't have to worry about the middles of your letters getting cut out. I don't have a stencil font, and let me show you guys how you can get one really easily. So all you do is go to a new tab and load dafont.com. I've noticed a lot of times, and I think it's their website, it occasionally will do this where it won't load for me, and if it doesn't load right away, I just have to reload it. Sometimes it just has a mind of its own. So while it's doing that, we can play around a little bit, and I can show you some of your font options that you could use. I always like to use something a little bit fat because I might not use a stencil font. I kind of like this one. So the first thing that I'm going to do, because this is going to be cut into a different color, is we don't need to worry about putting them individually on each banner. So all I want to do is I'm going to resize my letters so they fit on my banner. I need to unlock this because I'm going to make these kind of wider and taller than they are long. Now we may need to zoom out our screen. So to do that, you hold Control and you just use your mouse scrolling button, and all that does is it scrolls out your screen. So you can easily move your letters around to fit where you want them to go, just so you have a better idea if they're going to fit on your banner. I think it looks pretty good, so we're going to do that. And if you want, you can check that they'll fit on your banners by clicking Ungroup, and you can move your letters around. Since it won't matter that they're cutting in order, I'm going to let it do what it likes to do, where it saves you some paper space by doing this. So I'm just going to kind of double check that it looks like all the letters are going to fit, and they should. Once one fits, they'll all fit. So the next thing we need to do is check the sizing on our items to see if they're the size we want them. I'm going to go ahead and zoom back in. I'm just going to move this B out of the way. And I'm actually going to make this one a little bit small just so that you guys can see it, and this isn't, my final step. So, but it should fit everything pretty nicely. So all I want to do now is I just need to fix this so that it's the same, the top one is the same color as those. So I need that one. And then I need to fix the bottom one so that it's the same color as the other pennants. That way it cuts all on the same screen. So what I'm going to do, I'll show you what it does when you click Make It. So what that's going to do is you'll see how it rearranged all my letters, and that's okay. I don't care that it's rearranging them since they're all going to go on individual banners. But this way it will save us paper. And you'll see down here it's going to have all of our different papers, or different mats. So if you want, you can move them around, but it's going to fit as many as it can on a mat. And it looks like we're going to get 3 on a mat, so it's going to take 3 sheets of one color. And then for this one, it's only going to take 2 sheets of this color because these ones were smaller. So now this is where you get to load your paper colors. You choose which papers you want, and I'll show you guys loading my mat and cutting everything out, and then we'll get to assemble them. We're going to actually use a hole punch instead of putting the circles in. Actually, I don't want to do that. I am going to show you guys real quick how to put the circles in if you want them in your banner. So we're going to cancel this, and we'll go back, and I'll show you really quick how you can do that. Now, you can just delete your extra ones if you would like to, and I'm going to go ahead and do that just because once we slice, we won't have to do it to every single banner, and they'll be in the same spot. So let's go ahead and just remove all these other ones. We don't need them. I should have done this step first. Again, guys, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I forget to do steps. This is one of those cases where I totally forgot to do a step. But I feel like this kind of helps you guys out because you see that not everybody's perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me a circle, and I'm going to make just one of them for now, and I'm just going to size him so that he's about the size I think I need for my cut hole, which that's probably pretty good. It's going to be pretty small, but I think that's fine. All we're going to do is we're going to duplicate him, and that way we have 2 of him. Pretty easy, right? Well, now here comes kind of the difficult part. We have to slice him, but we have to slice him out of both pennants. You can only slice 2 things at once. So what I find the easiest way to do this is I click on one dot, I hit Control, and I select the bottom pennant. Well, I guess this would be the top pennant. And all I do is I click Slice. So then I just remove my dots. Oops, and I didn't mean to move that. So I just remove my dots. Then all I do is I'm going to move him to the back. And then I'm going to select this guy and the pink pennant. And I'm going to go ahead and slice it. And all we're going to do is move the dots again. And you should see the purple through. Then what I'm going to do is come in here, and I'm going to move him to the back, and all I'm going to do is line the dot up again in the hole here. I'm going to select this dot, and this time I'm going to pick this lighter pink one, and I'm going to select Slice again, and that's going to go ahead and slice it out so that you'll see the grid through it. And then I'm going to move him to the back. Again, I told you, there's probably a way easier way to do this, guys. This is how I do it, and it's probably like totally wrong, but it's how I do it. So I'm going to put this dot back here because I need to line it up again before I move him to the back. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody will notice if they're not 100% lined up because there will be a string in the way. So I'm going to move this guy to the back, and you'll see you have the pink dot and your pennant. So we'll select the pink dot and the front pennant, and we'll slice. So we're just going to remove those. Now we don't need any of these dots anymore, so just get rid of them. We don't want to cut them out. It's no big deal. We'll just remove them. Now we need to duplicate. So we need birthday. So we have the one for B. So now we need I, R, T, H, D, A, and Y. There we go. So now we do have the holes cut in them. It will cut the holes. I'm really sorry I forgot that step at the beginning. It would have been a lot easier at the beginning, but you get the idea. So it's going to, again, do that. It's going to show us those. And you'll see now that it does show the holes in our pennants, and it's going to show the holes in these pennants as well. So we are going to get ready to cut them out, and then we can assemble our birthday banner. We are ready to load our mat. I am using the blue light stick mat. Ignore the fact that it's dirty. I use it all the time. And I have set my settings on my machine to cardstock because I'm using the thicker cardstock from Michaels. It comes in the packs. It is the Craft Smith brand, and these are the ones that they always put on sale, so I love to buy them when they're only like $5 or, you know, $5.50 or whatever, because you get like 48 sheets or something crazy in all of them. They have like fancy paper, but then they also have these really pretty colors. So we're going to do the word birthday in a purple. I'm going to do the top banner in this kind of a robin's egg, and then the bottom banner is going to be in this hottie kind of middle pink color. The biggest thing that you guys need to notice when you're doing these is what colors and what part it's going to cut first. And you can see all of that on your Design Space screen. So I knew that it was going to cut my letters first. Second, it's going to cut the bottom banner, so we're going to use the hot pink. And then it's going to cut the top banner, so we'll load the blue. So I'm going to show you, let you guys see it cutting a little bit. And then I want to show you guys how I'm going to unload these letters so that you can see how pretty easy it really is. If you have a brand new blue mat, it may take a little bit more time to get them off neatly. But once you've used your mat a few times, it gets a lot less sticky, and it will make a big difference of unloading these. I used all capitals. It's going to make it a lot easier to cut them out because we're actually going to use the big outline of the letters. So we won't actually have to worry about saving any of the middles, which is really nice. But you can see how easily this cuts, and it cuts really, really neatly, which is really nice. And like I said, with this heavier cardstock, I do put it just on the regular cardstock setting, not on the light. I'll use light when I use the cheaper stuff that you can get in the 50 packs, and they're usually 8.5 by 11. I always save my random scrap of cardstock because you can always come back and use it later for another project because you can fit a lot more on these. So I do try to save them so I don't just rip them off. I try to take them off pretty neatly. So we're going to pull that off, and I want to show you how easy it's going to be to take your letters off. You're just going to just kind of lift it and pull it off. Again, using a less sticky mat helps a lot when doing these. So just carefully lift, like peel. All you're going to do is like tip your mat a little bit so that it's bent a little, and then it's going to pop the edge of your letter off, and you're just going to peel your letter away from it. I can lift you guys up a little bit so you can see maybe a little better, but see how it's pulling this up a little? I can actually just pull from there, and it comes right off really easily. So you're just going to do that, and that way your letters won't bend. And like with these, like H's and stuff, just make sure you get both sides of them. Like same with the Y, and just carefully remove them. And then take your middle sections of your letters and just do the same thing and take those out because we're not going to need them. So you don't have to worry if you bend those up a little bit. Unless you want to use them for confetti, you can totally do that. So now, like I said, we know that it's going to cut the middle the back piece. So we're going to load our color for our back, which is going to be this hot pink. So I'm just going to put my hot pink on my mat, and I'm going to press it down, and I'm going to go ahead and load that paper in. I'll let you guys see it cutting a little bit of that, and then we can come back and I'll show you loading your next color. I want you guys to note that it is going to cut out those holes for us so that we can easily string our banner together. And it's actually going to make loading our banner, like gluing it together, easier too. But you see how it's going to cut out our circles. So if you look, and I'm not sure how well you can see it, but you can see there's circles right up here where it cut them. And it's going to do that on all of our banners. So like I said, once it's done cutting out these pink ones, we'll go ahead and I'll show you it cutting out the blue. Alright, we've cut out all our pink pennants, so we are on to our blue pennants. So just make sure that you know, again, what color it's ready to cut, and that shows all on your Cricut screen. And like I said, it doesn't matter what color you choose within Design Space unless you just want to see what it looks like together. Cricut doesn't know if you load a different color than you chose on the Design Space application there. So like I said, I did all kinds of different colors than I actually chose in Design Space. So now it's going to cut out our small banners. These banners we're going to get to fit 4 on each sheet, which is really nice. So it's going to fit a little bit more. Ooh. Ooh. Corner wasn't down all the way, so hopefully that doesn't mess it up too much. That's why it's important to make sure that you get all of your things stuck down really tight. I apparently did not, and it's going to grab that corner a little bit, but it should be fine. But it's going to do the same thing. You'll see it's cutting out your circles. Those are important. We will be needing those because that's how we're going to loop our string or our yarn or our twine or whatever you're going to use to hang your birthday banner with. So again, we needed those, have to have them. So it's going to cut these out. Once it's done cutting these out, I will show you guys assembly because we are ready for assembly. So I have all my parts. I have my big pennant, my little pennant, and my letters. So I have a couple different types of glue that I want to show you guys, and each one of these has its own unique use, but I use the Elmer's Craft Bond stuff, so we have extra strength, and this is just a glue stick. I have a clear dual tip pen, which this one has like a fat tip, and then it has a super skinny tip. So on that super skinny tip, you can use it probably on like your letters and stuff. It's really handy. These are for photo sticks. I probably won't use this one today. This is better if you're actually taking like a glossy photo and sticking it to something. And then this is just a glue stick pen. And it's literally just a glue stick, and it's just small. It's okay. It's not my favorite, but it works. So the first thing that we're going to do is I want to show you how nice and easy it's going to be to line these up because of the dots that we put in. So you'll be able to see how nice and pretty and easy it is to line up. And then our letter is going to go right on top. This is going to be so pretty for a birthday girl. So all I'm going to do, and you're not going to really be able to see it in the video, but these are kind of textured. So one side's a little more textury than the other. So I want to make sure that I choose the more textured side to sit out. So I'm going to use my extra strength. Oh, if I can open it, my goodness gracious. I guess they call it extra strength clothes too. I'm going to use my extra strength glue stick for the banner part. So I'm just going to put it on the back of the blue banner. And all I'm just doing is kind of spreading it around. I want to make sure that it stays on the banner and doesn't get all over anything else, because if it does, it's going to leave streaks. So all I want to do is line it up with my pink banner. And all I'm going to do that is just line those holes up. It's just going to make it so much easier to use those holes to line it up than to use anything else. And then I'm just going to press it down. So we're going to do that for the next couple banners. Like I said, just make sure you take your banner. So we're going to take a pink banner, and we're going to take our blue banner, and we're just going to make sure we're using the more textured side out. And then I'm just going to take my extra strength glue stick, and I just want to make sure I kind of get close to the edge, but not all the way, and get in the center. And then all I'm just going to do is spread it around a little bit. And I got a little bit of glue blob there. And I like to turn mine sideways. I think it's a little bit easier for me to see the dots. And hopefully you guys can see kind of the dots. But I just line it up with the dots, and then I just press it on. It's going to take a little bit for these to dry, and you can always put like a heavy book on top of them or something else heavy if you're having trouble with it, like curling. I'll sometimes use like some of my jars or whatever if like the tip tops are curling, like right down here there's a little bit of a curl. This may just not have gotten enough glue on it. Sometimes when I get something that like right here where it's kind of lifting, I've got a little lift right there. I'm going to take my glue pen with its little itty bitty tip, and I'm just going to stick a little glue dab there, spread it around a little bit, and I'm going to wipe off the excess, and that should hold that down. That's why when you take these off your mats, you want to make sure you're not bending them. So just be careful with any kind of bends that you put in the letters or in your cardstock, because it'll just make it harder to glue down. So I'm going to get these assembled, and then we'll get to put the letters on. Okay, we've let those dry for a couple minutes. Like I said, this stuff dries really quickly, which is nice. So we're going to do our letters now. I want to show you this one because this is the, remember I told you that the edge of my cardstock wasn't stuck down real well. You can see I have a wonky circle. He's just going to be the last letter. Nobody will notice him on the end. So I'm going to use the glue pen for the letters. So all I'm going to do, and it comes out really fast, so you just very lightly squeeze, and then I usually just kind of spread it around with the tip. And I'm just going to spread it all over the letter. And then I'm just going to flip the letter and put it on to the banner. Leave a little bit of room on the edge for your finger to hold on. I'm just, my hands. And make sure you're gluing on the right side of the letter. If you put the wrong side down, you will be in trouble. So I just use the tip of the pennant. Oops. And be careful, this glue is slippery. I just use the tip of the pennant to kind of figure out where the center of my letter needs to be. So there's our B. So we're going to go ahead and glue all of our letters down, and then I'm going to show you guys how to string it onto your ribbon. We are ready to string our birthday sign. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of my twine out. I'm going to make it nice and long. I'm just going to cut that for you. So I'm just going to use some cheap twine. I found these on Amazon. They come in a bunch of colors. And then I just cut kind of a long spot for it. And then I'm going to take my letter and I'm going to slide. I'm going to do this. You know what? I'm actually going to do it this direction. I was going to do it the other way, but I think this way might be easier. So all I want to do with this is I'm going to slide it in the first hole, and then I'm going to go behind the banner and slide it through the second hole. When I go through the second hole, I'm going to pull this all the way kind of almost to the end so that I can show you how I want to secure these. So I'm going to actually take and loop my ends around my circle, in like through my holes. I don't know how well you guys can see this because it's kind of a tiny string, but so I just loop them so that you have like a loop like this around it. And I want to do that for both sides of my project. So I'm just going to do that. And what that'll do is it'll hold your piece, so your banner, your letter in place. So when you put your second one in, it won't line it up. You know, it won't overlap the other one. So you're just going to pull your twine all the way through until it's about where you want it to hang versus where your first letter's hung. And then you just do the same thing. You're just going to loop your end through here. And then you're just going to kind of pull it. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Oops, except I just realized I totally looped that backwards. So every once in a while I do something dumb and I loop it backwards like a silly goose. So that's the one thing you just need to make sure you're watching, because when you're done looping through the one way, you need to make sure it loops through the back. And sometimes you'll just have to put, geez, oh man. You'll just have to put an extra loop through occasionally because you screwed up and you don't feel like going back and fixing it. So we shall see. So we want this to make sure that it ends up, once it loops through the first time, like this, so that when we loop it through the second time, it goes through the back. So we'll just do that, and I'll just show you that real quick. So you loop it through the front and then around. I'm going to pull that back out so that I can pull this back through. And we'll get that kind of lined up where we want it. And I need the end of my string. I won't make you guys watch all of these. I just want to show you kind of how to do it. And then we'll show you the finished project. But you're just going to loop them so that your string ends up in the back of your project. And I apologize for any of the weird noises behind me. My dog is walking around. And so then we just loop that one through. And as long as you have one of them looped, you can loop your other one. This one doesn't have to go around the back because it's going just through the side. So you're perfectly okay to loop this one. Whoops, and then I bumped you. To loop this one around the front because it's going to go around the front. It won't matter. So you just want to loop those all through. Make sure you spell it right. And when we come back, I'll show you our finished project. And here we are with our finished birthday banner. You can do these banners for anything you could possibly imagine. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I like to hang these above my mantle for different holidays. As you guys can see, it was really, really easy and a lot of fun. So many different great options. If you guys have any questions, please leave them below. If you'd like to see any more tutorials, also leave that below in the comments. Make sure you do subscribe to my channel as I put out new videos all the time. And if you guys have any questions about anything else with Cricut, I'm always happy to answer them. I'm going to give you guys a nice close-up view of this as well, so you can see how we did this. And if you guys recall, we did this all using Cricut Access for the banner shape, and then we just used a font that was already on our computer for the letters. Make sure you click that bell button because it'll tell you if I post any new videos, and do subscribe.